Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. Well, it's been a really exciting and event-filled baby boa birthing season. Another baby boa litter has dropped. The female gave birth either late last night or sometime earlier this morning. And this is a really exciting one. This is an Argentine boa, one of my favorite of the locality boas. So I'm gonna go check out, process the litter, take out the mother, clean her up, and take a look at the babies. So without further ado, I can't wait to see what this litter has in store for us. This female Argentine had her litter probably sometime early this morning. Been watching her for about a week or so, expecting the litter, and I noticed she was quite more slim when I checked on her this morning. She was quite plump before, so her litter, I believe, is over in the corner. So I'm gonna take a quick look at her litter and then get her cleaned up and clean up the enclosure. There's the litter over in the corner. You can see a pile of babies and some slugs as well, just kind of sitting there. Most of them are still in the amniotic sacs. I don't see anyone really moving around. And there's the mother. So I'm not sure how she's going to react. Sometimes females can get a bit defensive, rightfully so, defending the babies. So I'm going to exercise some caution and gently remove her, give her a nice warm bath, and we'll check out the babies. Okay, the mother's soaking right now. She got a little bit hissy, but she was no striking or anything. And there's the babies. You can see a nice little pile of Argentine babies. I counted 7 slugs, these unfertilized ova. Of course, I always like to see babies instead of slugs, but these are unfortunately part of breeding boas. Typically, they're not that big a deal if you just see a few of them. And a lot of people will actually feed them to other reptiles like monitors and tegus and things like that. You can probably even make an omelet out of them if you're really adventurous. But these baby Argentines look real nice. Lots of cute little babies. There's a closer shot. You can see this one is still pretty much fully in the amniotic sac, just the head poking out there. And some others. And usually they just kind of hang out in the amniotic sac. Sometimes the mother will kind of push them out. Sometimes they just come out on their own. But now I'm going to take them out and put them in a separate container and do a count and see, make sure everyone's okay, and exactly what we have here. But really nice looking litter. Just kind of psyched about this. This is second year in a row breeding Argentines after quite a long pause between my last litter. There you can see the litter, and it was a total of 14 babies and actually 9 slugs. So quite a large litter in terms of the babies and just the overall volume, which I'm not surprised. This female was pretty swollen. And she's a pretty big girl, probably about 7 feet or so. She is a first-time breeder, born back in 2019, and real nice looking litter. Nice pile of babies there. Let's take a quick close-up look. There you can see the babies, and they're just starting to poke their heads through the amniotic sacs. Usually I'll give them a few hours to just come out on their own. You can see the beautiful pink colors of this one there on the left. And typically they will lose the pink color when they're about 6 months to a year old, although these guys, the father is from the Max Pink bloodline, so they tend to retain the pink better to adulthood. Just a really nice litter. These Argentines, as you probably know if you've been following the channel, are one of my all-time favorite locality boas, and the first locality boa that I bred. And then I did have a litter last year. It had been like, I think 7 or 8 years between that one and the last litter that I had before that in 2015. So real happy to have the litter last year, and now this beautiful litter. Look at that little guy there poking his head out, or her head out of the amniotic sac. So what I'll do is give them a few hours to come out of the sacs, and then come back, clean them up, clean up the paper towels. With all of this goo and gunk, it starts to get kind of stinky really fast. So just want to make sure that there's not any kind of toxic gases that are generated from the decomposition. And there's a look at the slugs. And wish, I always wish the slugs were babies, but it, just happens. The male was pretty active actually courting the female and copulating with her, so not sure if it was his sperm quality or if there's anything that could have been done to prevent these. But luckily, lots of nice babies as well. And then interestingly, you can see that one on the left there looks a little bit duller in color, kind of more of a brownish gray rather than a bright orange. And it's interesting, sometimes people have thought that these differently colored ones are due to retained slugs from previous year's breedings, but this is her first breeding, so that couldn't be a retained one. Maybe it was just something to do with where it was inside of her reproductive tract led to it looking a little bit different. But the others, you can see kind of this bright orangey brown color, and you can actually break them open, and there's kind of this, you can see some of the albumin, the egg white that has leaked out of that one at the top. They're almost like unfertilized chicken eggs, just with a soft shell. In addition to using them to feed certain reptiles, they make great fertilizer, and that's usually what I do. I just put them in my garden to fertilize my tomato plants. I'm going to take the slugs out now. That was just for demonstration, but I'll go ahead, I'll move these guys to a heat mat set to maintain about 90 degrees on about half of the enclosure, and they'll just stay in this 14-gallon Sterilite tub for the next week and a half or so till they shed. And in the meantime, I'm going to go clean the cage of the mother thoroughly, get rid of all that smell, and then move her out of her bath to her fresh cage. First, I thought I'd just give you a close-up shot of one of the animals that is outside of the amniotic sac. Nice, plump, healthy-looking Argentine, beautiful pink markings. And these guys are all pretty big. I'd say they're at least 20 inches, maybe 21, 22 inches, and quite plump, very healthy animals. Real nice looking litter. It's the end of the day, and I came to check on the babies and clean the enclosure, put in some fresh paper towels, clean everything up. As you can see, they look quite a bit cleaner now. Most of that goo is left behind on the old paper towels, and they're moving around and just looking like beautiful little baby Argentine Boas. I just love the pink markings and the beautiful dark patterns, and they're just such great Boas, these Argentines. Definitely one of my favorites, and has been a favorite for many decades actually. All these babies look like they're real nice and healthy, well developed, and very robust and vigorous. And I'll plan to just keep them in this simple 14-gallon Sterilite tub with this paper towel substrate, a few more hiding places of additional paper towels, and a water dish, and just keep them like this for about a week and a half. They have a FlexWatt heat tape underneath set to maintain about 90 degrees, about half of the enclosure. And then they'll shed at about 10 days of age, and then they'll go to their own little tubs in a rack, and I'll feed them, and things go smoothly. These guys should be ready for their new homes in about a month and a half, so stay tuned if you're thinking about possibly acquiring a top-notch Argentine Boa. So I'm really excited to have these baby Argentine Boas on the ground, and I thought I'd end by showing you guys an animal from last year. This is a half sibling to the litter that was just born. They have the same father, different mother, and these animals are doing really well. This one is one of my holdbacks. And one of the noteworthy things is how big these animals are at just a year old. This female is about 3 feet long, quite a bit bigger than my Surinames at the same age. These Argentines, they just grow faster. Beautiful looking animal. You can see the nice dark colors and the beautiful patterns. This female has a little bit of pink left, so she'll probably retain some of this pink since she has father from the Max Pink bloodline. But just a really nice looking animal. And these animals, they're now eating large mice and small rats. Probably move her mostly to rats in the next few months ahead. Actually fed her a chick the last feeding, and she really liked that. Or actually most boas really like to eat birds as well as rodents, so you definitely want to mix in some chicks and quail in your boa's diet if their boa's getting nothing but rats and mice. But a really nice animal. Some of you guys out there probably have some of the siblings from this litter. This 2023 litter was my first Argentine litter in 8 years, since 2015 actually. And after that long dry spell, it's great to have 2 back-to-back years with Argentine Boas born. So this is a 23 vintage, and now we have the 24 models that have just entered the world. So really exciting. And so a lot of these babies will be available, the 24s. So if you're interested in a really nice Argentine Boa, stay tuned to the channel. I expect they'll be ready to go in about 1.5 to 2 months once they've had a few meals and they're doing well. And usually these Argentines are really easy to get established. They're definitely one of the easier types of boas, much less finicky than the true red tails. And if you're a beginner, these are a great species for beginners to work with. Obviously they're great also for experts, and they have a really well-deserved popularity among boa aficionados. So don't miss out on these nice Argentine boas. Hope you enjoyed the first look at these babies, and shoot me any questions you have by email or in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your boas.